Okay, welcome to the broadcast. You're listening to the Forbidden History series with NinjaCat and Dezert-Owl, also from the Forbidden History series and Forbidden History archives. G'day. Thank you, Lynn. We'll get Desert in a second. We're doing a sound check. Um,
Test, test, test.
yeah.
Testing, one, two, three, audio check. Lynn, we missed you yesterday. Good to have you back.
Yes, it is.
Sound 10 on Ninja. Do we have harmony, Ninja? Who are you? Why are you here? Ninja, speak. Talk to me. Counterbalance. Okay, Owl is a 10. And you're a fox today, it looks like, Ninja.
Yeah,
I don't know.
at least I'm a 10
Okay.
though. Yeah.
Okay, but we're balanced. Bottom line, we're balanced. We want to know that we're, in harmony with each other. Harmony. Thank you, Jackie. All right, then,
Okay,
Ninja.
I'm supposed to be speaking. Um, okay, thank you for joining, and we'll be back in a minute. I'm just sorry, I'm just.
And bye for the broadcast, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah,
We've got things to talk about
yes, we do.
always.
Yes, we do.
So today, they're pretty smart too. I've noticed that. That's why they're here. Of course, Ninja, right? All right.
Yes, Desert. Okay, we'll be back in a minute.
All right. Mute me out.
I am. Okay, welcome everyone. Let's get on with it, shall we? Again, you're listening to the Forbidden History series with NinjaCat and Dezert-Owl, also from the Forbidden History series and Forbidden History Archive. If you're new and you haven't subscribed to these channels, please do. All links are in the description. They're amazing. There's quite a collection of live streams and really important stuff to listen to. Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing, and it's also enjoyable to listen to as well. And it will help you get the picture as to what we're talking about here. Um, okay, this was written by Dezert-Owl, and we'll get straight into it. The Signs of the Times. In essence, Desert discusses the history of the world and how the unseen hand has been running it from the very beginning of time. Who they are and how they have founded all of the first great civilizations that have found all around the world, about who the giants really were, and the ancient Aryan caste and slave systems, the priesthoods, the anti-gravity V-manners, the Earth-based misnomered UFOs, which are man-made, the control of all forms of communications, commerce, religion, mass media, pseudo-politics, etc. It is the grand deception that is used to control all of mankind and all instituted through the three main religions of the world in particular, used as their grand cover. Their cybercode has been revealed to him because he has become adept within the study of the ancient alphabets, communications, symbolism, religion, custom, law, cosmology, and mythology, not to mention the fallacy of today's political science and pseudoscience in particular. He can also define the true nature of their warfare, their shell game of bringing one civilization up for their temporary use and then taking it down for the next 500-year generational cycle, as symbolized by the classical phoenix. Desert discusses the ultimate in mind control and ancient art and the financial control, the secret societies and their blood occult rituals, and how they wage all wars throughout all time, through the nations that they have created, which are all imaginations, plantations, and mere corporations. They have taken blood oaths to surrender their self-will and mind to their blind goddess, who has demanded our blood from the very beginning of time. They communicate to their minions through the movies, TV, and print media, while he can see, read, and interpret most all of it. It all says that they are using us for our ingenuity, for our collective constructive labour, for experimentation, and in the end, they intend to kill us all. They have given us full notice of what they are doing, and what they fully intend to do, while all of the general population, the sheeple, they merely go there to be entertained. The New World Order is the Old World Order from the beginning of time. There is a major cosmic natural disaster that is about to happen on Earth, and they know it, but they are cleverly leaving us in the dark. Hence the reason that they have built hundreds of underground bases all around the world, while they are leaving all of the people to remain unprepared, uninformed, and above ground, so that when it comes, the mere 5% who will survive above ground will die from the weaknesses and disease that has been generated from all of the poisons that they have been feeding us, from the chemtrails to fluoride in the water, to tainted vaccines, to fake food, etc., etc., not to mention all the smoke in the air around the world at the moment. Had to add that. They have enslaved us all by the clever means of deception, because we, most all, are their cattle, chattel, property, and because they merely wanted to harness our labour, what they always needed, which is what backs most of the world's currency through the birth certificate, but they are all through with us now. It is written in stone, as it can be seen written in the Georgia Guidestones. To know the truth is to be empowered and to be prepared. We may not be able to stop what has been done and what is about to happen, but the innocent and decent people on planet Earth deserve to know. And that was very well written by Dezert-Owl, who I'd like to welcome to the program. G'day, Desert. Are you there?
Hi, Ninja. I am here, and thank you very much. I'm here because of you. On the end of the spectrum, because we know that we're all here because of the great Father of Light, having brought us into creation. But I'm here today because of you, Ninja, and I'm
Thank
so
you.
grateful for your dedication, and you did it. You did it on a song, a wing, and a prayer, with no energy and no funny money, and just a lot of dedication in your heart for truth and for recognizing a higher power than yourself. And want to welcome all of our friends out there as well that actually make the broadcast happen too. Because if they weren't there, then
We
I wouldn't
wouldn't
be
be
here.
here. Yeah.
Right. But the
Yeah.
question is, if I weren't here, would they be there? Right. Think about it. And we're doing part two today because we broke off. Unfortunately, yesterday we were
Yes, it
on a
broke.
cosmic roll,
Yeah.
and trying to get out a lot of information that we do on the broadcast. And the more we do it, the more the deeper we go. The deeper we keep, everything opens up like a flower, and and that's nature. That's nature speaking to us. So we covered some ground on a 2-hour broadcast yesterday. People can see part one, but where we were about to pick it up was with your story, Ninja, because at the moment, we're not certain that we have a broadcast anymore, and so we want people to know your situation, to create light for you, and if anybody has a friend down under in the Ninja's backyard in Australia, then we would love them to send the link of this broadcast. So because basically, many of us are on our own, and we don't have options other than to ask the Father of Light for help. But when the Father, of Light is asked and he moves, he usually moves people. He usually brings people into our arena to help us. So somebody, out there can be the cause and the effect for Ninja to maybe they know something where she can find an alternative place to live, because right now she's under the classic terminology we use here in America for our organizations, and what the people are under is threat. And this is a term that applies everywhere, really, under threat, duress, and coercion. And so and the irony is that Ninja's been targeted for a number of years, many years, apparently, by the outside forces, which are quasi-military Masonic disorder, but they're very organized. They're Masonic disorder, but they're very organized because they play games, on mankind. They boast of their own superiority above us. That's as when we see the movies that I reviewed last night, the one called the Priest, or just simply called Priest, and it was the Priest was a takeoff from the movie of Angels and Demons, and this guy played a pretty good psychopathic priest, and they made another movie about it, and in there it was another spin of the Catholic Church, and so they show you, and they were referring to the people and themselves in the double play as the vampire. And so, was the vampire the people, or was the vampire the Vatican agents? And it is the Vatican agents who are the vampire, when they got us to thinking at one moment that it was the people, but that's how they double play things. You see it in the reflection of the mirror. Just like Neo, he's the good guy, he's our guy. We like Neo, but then we find out at the end, because he couldn't dodge bullets, he didn't have to dodge bullets, that he was really a Jesuit, because we saw him wearing a Jesuit robe at the end, doing the Superman thing, flying through the air. Bullets couldn't touch him. That's the Jesuit. That's the power of being in a phony sovereign, but truly sovereign in its own right, sovereign on earth, but not sovereign with the Father of Light, but in sovereign darkness, I guess we could say. And so the darkness has penetrated the lives of many of our friends here, actually, and also Ninja on the outside. But now she's also got the darkness on the inside of her house, persecuting her, and it's from a military brother-in-law. And so bad enough, she's had to deal with the mother who's ill, but they've basically taken care of that situation. So I don't want to, speak on behalf of your story, Ninja, but you needed to get out, what you're going through, to get basically a release of just to talk about it, and then hopefully somebody might consider a small donation, or an avenue of retreat where you can go, because you, one more time, was lied to and deceived by your sister and your brother-in-law, and then now, when you thought you may have a year left in the home, recover, do R&R from no time at all, 24/7. Somebody who lost their mind, you got to take care of them, had no time to even read or do anything, take care of yourself, and now you're being you elaborate here, okay? You start over and take over, because I'm just talking, and I'm rambling on. Okay, and again, I thank you for your work, because if we don't find a way to relocate you and to help you, then this broadcast is over, at least for an indefinite time. Because right now you're having to pack everything you got and escape. She literally has to escape the remnant of her family, ladies and gentlemen. So Ninja, breathe deep, and we have friends here that are all with you today. All of us are friends. You
Okay.
know that, all right?
Thank you. Um,
All right.
um, sorry. uh, yeah, most of you have. I wanted to share this, and I want to keep it together. But there's no, there's no guarantees there. Yeah, just listening to Desert talk about it. Yeah. Anyway, most of you have followed my story during the live streams over the past year, since I first met Desert and started and got the courage to start calling in. My intention, to help me open up and get over the fear of calling in on on live streams, was to use my struggle and my story, and overcoming things, to encourage others to do the same, to be able to call in and ask questions and talk about things, because struggle is all part of this. This is all about the truth and finding our way home, and yeah, so there's a duality in everything, and the struggle is part of it, and that helps with the transformation. And anyway, so most of you have followed my story, so I won't go back into it, because it's all there on YouTube, on the live
Well,
streams. But
yeah, we'll catch him up at the point when your mother has been taken away for 2 weeks.
yeah,
Supposedly she'll be coming back, so pick it up right at that
yeah,
juncture.
yeah, yeah. Finally, um, I thought that people were starting to see the reality of the situation, and that they were wanting to help. Um,
The situation with your mother.
yes, yes, that it
Yeah.
was getting exhausting and it was getting toxic for both of us, because there was no relief.
Yeah, well,
Um,
that's a generous statement. It's more like you were having your own mental breakdown because you couldn't take care of yourself or have a moment of peace. She followed you everywhere you went in the house, wouldn't leave you
yeah,
alone, woke you up when you tried to sleep, banging on the window, banging on the door.
yep,
So you were basically fried,
yep,
you know, right?
yep,
In the event, taking care of your mother.
yep,
Not normal, not natural, no help from the state, no help from your sister. In fact, they enjoy persecuting you whenever they come around.
yep,
Go ahead.
yep. And so they turned up, um, and it had got to the point where I had to keep the front door bolted. I had to keep the gates, um, the side gates on the house, padlocked, both of them at all times. I had to be in complete control so that Mum wouldn't go walkabout. I had to barricade my end of the house. I had to barricade the door because there was no lock on the door. I had to barricade that at night so that I could get some sleep without her randomly walking into my room over and over and over again, standing there saying, "Are you awake? Are you awake? Are you awake?" Um, and yeah, so it had got to that point. It had got to the point where I had no time to, like, I didn't even bother at, like, near the end there. I had no time to barely uh, do simple things like look after myself. I would go for a day without brushing my hair. I'd just run my fingers through it and put it up in a scrunchie. Um, Things like that, like the simple little things. Um, yeah, and because I was too busy making sure that uh, Mum was looking after herself, or doing the things she had to do, like cleaning her teeth and brushing her hair and all that sort of stuff. And that's how bad it got. Uh, if I wanted to uh, go and do something for myself and have a private moment, it would get interrupted 30 seconds later. That's how bad it got.
Hmm?
Um, I thought that people were starting to see this, and then my sister and brother-in-law turned up, um, and because the front, or across the front of the house, was locked and barricaded, um, they couldn't get in, and I heard Mum talking with somebody, and I came out and they were all at the side gate, and I saw who it was, and I refused to let them in.
Well, okay, your brother-in-law, who is a Navy military
Yeah,
Mason, because he gives the secret hand signs to the social workers when they come around, right? You saw that. He's given the index finger,
yeah,
the pinky,
yeah.
like they
I'll
do
get
on
to that.
stage, and the
Yeah,
musicians do. Yeah, I just want to add that. Go ahead, because you didn't
yeah,
clarify. It's your brother-in-law, and who hates your guts for the last 20 years, and
yeah,
with your sister. Go ahead.
yeah, yeah. I'm the little slave. I'm lazy, and uh, deserve to be in the gutter. Yeah. Anyway, um, they were at the side gate. It started off with a yelling match because I refused to let them in. They managed to convince me that uh, it was for my benefit. Um, they were here to help, and Mum was getting extremely upset, so I let them in to calm the situation down. Um, and yeah, and made them let them know that if they started, the police would be on the doorstep. It was that was an
Yeah, and
achievement that day.
yeah,
Yeah, I had
right,
control that
right.
day.
Right, you were in
Yeah,
command. That's the word I use. You didn't demand respect. You commanded respect. But the what you're talking about getting started is there verbal attacks on you, especially your brother-in-law, of with the filthy mouth
yeah,
and direct assault on your integrity, on your character, to make you try to put you down as small can get.
yeah,
And
yeah,
your sister, of course, lets him get away with it because she is also not
under
very
his
integral in her
yeah,
own.
under
Yeah,
his
well,
control.
under his control, but she has her own mouth and her own free will. Apparently, not enough. So she's goes along with what he's been doing to you. So please continue.
Yeah, and he's been treating us in this way for years, but it's slowly got worse.
Well, the
And
reason is because I got to fill in the gaps for everybody because I know part of your story. The reason he's worse now is because your father died.
yep,
Because your father wouldn't tolerate the behavior that he was instituting against you nor your sister. And once he saw him abusing your sister, that I think was a turnaround point for your
yep,
father, right?
yep.
Okay.
But he never had any respect for me because I was different in the way, like he just never accepted me for who I am. Never accepted any of my views. I talked nonsense. Anyway,
Because you were questioning things. You were the
yes,
inquisitive type, and just were free spirited, and that's why you're here today, of course, because you are of that mindset. That's why the Heavenly Father is using you to produce this fantastic production that you're producing that now is basically in threat
yeah,
of shutting down.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So they brought some forms for me to sign, um, and my sister signed them with me. It was to guarantee that I could stay in the house. If mum got put into permanent care, I had up to 12 months to stay in the house. Uh, and it was all very civil, and it was organised for a couple of days after that. Mum would get picked up and taken back to a respite centre out of town near my sister's house, so that I could have 2 weeks off. Um,
So they
I
said.
haven't had more than a couple of hours off in the last 3 years. So 2 weeks
Couple hours
off,
at a time. In other words, a couple hours at a time.
yeah.
Or is it 1 hour at a time? I can't remember. What
The
is it?
most I had was 4 hours. At,
4 hours one
at the
at one
beginning,
time.
I was getting an extra 4 hours
Hmm.
a month each month, once a month, and then they stopped that because they wanted to cut
Right.
costs, and it went like as
Right.
mum got worse, the hours went down. Um, so I was
So with
at the
all so
point
I,
I was getting 2 2 hour breaks a week, and that was it.
two 2 hour breaks a week. Okay.
Yeah, no
And which
weekend,
which
no
which
clocking
I've
out
I've
of,
yeah,
yeah.
I've never heard of anything like this in my entire life, other than this is a model for perfect slavery. That's the only thing I can wrap my mind around. That's the way it was for slaves. Slaves had that kind of a deal. And so you endured this for several years, and then we're going to get a picture of what it's now like under the thumb of your brother-in-law. So please continue the fraud that they're perpetrating on you.
Okay,
And the
so
robbery, by the way, the robbery, because you're losing half of your estate. They're bottom part. The sidebar here, ladies and gentlemen, is they're robbing her for half of her estate. The $250,000 home, a all the personal belongings in there, everything. Ninja has no say in anything, even though she legally owns half the estate, and is going to be booted out after she's enslaved to clean it all up herself with no offer of cooperation or remuneration, and then we'll be out on the street with her cats, and made also to take care of a dog that belonged to her mother, that even her sister, nor her brother-in-law could have the decency to take to a pound, but dumped it on Ninja's responsibility with no automobile. Ninja.
yeah, and also since then, uh, I have no transport now. The buggy has a dead battery that needs replacing, and I'm sorry,
Breathe deep. Breathe deep. Okay.
and my only other transport is an electric bike, and that broke. Um, it doesn't work anymore, and
Hmm.
um, the heat here is getting up to 40 degrees during the day. I have a burnt arm, even though I was being careful when I had to go out and get some things done over my 2 weeks off. Um, and it's not, the burn is not right. It's not normal sunburn. And it's too hot to do anything during the day.
Yeah.
I didn't realize how badly I needed a break. And I felt good. Some of you saw that video where at the start of my break, I made that video, and I felt Yeshua's energy, um, and it was beautiful. I didn't feel like that for the rest of my holiday. I'd forgotten how to look after myself. I'd forgotten how to any concept of a routine, because everything was as you go with Mum. Um, I'd forgotten how to relax. Uh, yeah,
While your world is crashing all around you, we're literally in our broadcasts and our discussions, we know that it's game
yeah,
over. Just like you couldn't go out, and I kept telling you, don't go out in the sun.
yeah,
You had to do it anyway,
I
and the
had to.
result is you now have ultraviolet UVC and B degree burns on you because you couldn't do it well enough because it's just almost impossible to go
Yeah,
out there, and you may be more sensitive than somebody else. So you got a result
yeah,
that
because I
you didn't count
haven't
on.
been able to leave the house for so long. I haven't been
That's true.
out in the sun
Yeah,
for long periods of
yeah,
time, and my
hmm
skin is the palest it's ever been.
yeah,
Um, yeah, so that would have affected. That would yeah, I would have burnt. That would have been why I got sunburnt so quickly. Um, as well. And anyway, so I realised that I had no communication skills either. I was completely, I felt blocked. I couldn't do the reading that I'd been uh, craving to do for so long. I could not read. Uh, yeah. Anyway.
yeah. Well, okay. Let me just jump in because
Okay.
you now for about a year now have been producing for us. We're on program number 189, producing for us the most important information on the face of the entire Earth or under the earth. And as I say, my standard, because here is where we bring you the most important information on the face of the entire earth. And so Ninja, because she discovered the truth about her origin, about the great Father of Light, that we did not create ourselves, and she could see the great expanse unfold for her. She immediately wanted to produce for us. She wanted to produce the truth because she wanted it first for herself and then to bring it on for everybody else. And we've met a wonderful group of people over the last year, actually, since she got on my channel before it was sabotaged. The Forbidden History series. It's still there. You can go check out the archive there. And and so she did this, at 3 in the morning, while she's got to take care of her mom full time, so she lost sleep on top of everything else, producing this, and so now she's under assault by a so-called family member, adopted in with no legal right on the property at all. And her sister owns half, she owns half, but she is now being oppressed to the hilt. And just so please continue. What is this piece of? By the way, what's this guy's name? Let's get the record because we don't know what he might do next, and that's the reason I want on this for the record what he's doing to you. Because if anything happens to you, this piece of garbage can go to jail, and we wish he would for all that he's already done to you. So what's his name?
Do you want his full name?
Full name, full legal name for the record
Okay,
to protect you.
Nigel Jeffers. Nigel
Ni-
Jeffers.
Nigel Jeffers,
Yep.
and he's in the Navy, and as we talked
And
about
he's a
it
Catholic.
yesterday. Oh, good Catholic. Then he's a perfect Catholic, I would say. But he's a Navy, in the Navy. Makes good money, but obviously he gets kicked around by his upper brass, and therefore he's got to kick somebody around to release his energy, and he does it on you. What a real man he is, right? And that's what they teach him in the military is just how to kick people around, kill, crush, kill, destroy. That's all they know. So Ninja's getting the best of it right now. So, Ninja, please continue. How's this playing out?
Um, uh, Before they took Mum away, just quickly going back to that day when we've signed some paperwork, um, they uh, lied. Um, they said that when the house was sold, half of it would go towards Mum's care and the other half would be split and put in a trust fund, so that my sister and I could not touch it. It would be after Mum passed away, we would get that. and that was a flat out lie. Um, and so after the 2 weeks was up, I was kind of not expecting Mum to come home, but thought that maybe my sister would bring her home temporarily to grab some personal items, and maybe stay for a couple of days and then take her back. That it could have been that scenario quite easily, because they were waiting for permanent care to become available for her. So anyway, a knock on the door, and Mum didn't come back. It was my sister and Nigel Jeffers, her husband, and I let them in, and they were civil. I even joked around a little bit with my sister, which is amazing, for that to happen. um, anyway, it was all an act. As soon as they walked in the door, uh, they updated me on what was happening with Mum. She was waiting for permanent care. They checked out the place. It was very nice. It had all the
Yeah.
facilities. Yeah. Anyway.
And by the way, I want to add this little footnote. When your sister unloaded your mother at the care center where she was to stay for 2 weeks, your mother ran away, and she had to go running after her to grab her. And after she went through all the rigmarole to get her back into the facility where she just took her to, she just was dropping her off at. Then she told you, "quote I never want to have to go through that again." Right? What you've
Yeah.
been
I've
dealing
got it.
with
I've
for
got it
three
right here.
years.
I'm gonna.
3 years.
Yeah. I'm gonna
Yeah.
quote it word for word. For
Yeah.
the record. I'll just find it.
Hmm.
Mum tried to escape several times. This is why. This is the nature of dementia, which is being caused by the controllers of this world, and that is another reason why I want to get this out, because this is what they're doing to
Yeah.
everybody, from the spraying in the sky, from a result from the targeting, just yeah, it's yeah. Anyway, I'll find this. No, actually, I don't. Yeah, sorry, I don't want to look at her text. But she said, "Yeah, you almost got it right, Desert. She doesn't want to go through uh, uh, that emotional trauma ever again." And I had to go through it over and over and over and over the years. It was part of the reason why I could not get uh, time off or any time to relax, because every time we tried to find extra outside help, to benefit both of us and so that I could have a break, Mum would react like that. And therefore we would give up and try and find another way, and it was just over and over and over and over. Yeah, so anyway, they came in the house. We were talking normally, and it was only because they were expecting the real estate agent to turn up in a few minutes, and that was the first I'd heard of that. So the real estate agent comes over, and he's a very nice man, but he was giving the hand signal, and Nigel was standing away, sort of behind my sister, so I couldn't see what he was doing. But the real estate agent was giving the hand signal every time he was pointing to the paperwork and all that sort of thing. And everybody was civil.
Yeah. And,
Um,
and we want to add the hand signal is the index finger and the pinky
yep,
held up in the air with the two middle fingers pulled down with the thumb.
Yep.
And that's classic to what we see the rock and rollers and the politicians on stage giving. It's the occultic. I think it's the occultic owl, right? I
Yeah.
mean, it gives me a bad
Yeah.
name, but I'm a white owl,
Duality. Yeah.
and they're black owls.
Yeah.
So he's given the high sign from Hinduism, because that's where that sign comes from, India. You can see it on the reliefs of the monuments in India. So that's the unseen hand again.
Yeah.
That's given the pointy horned owl technique.
Yep. And I
So
also,
okay, right in your face, but you're
yeah,
not stupid. Therefore, you
I'm not
got it.
stupid, but I pretended not to see.
Yeah,
Um, yeah,
yeah,
yeah. I want them to think that I'm stupid. Because it doesn't matter anyway. They think I am anyway.
yeah,
Yeah. Also, the care workers that came around for my 2 hour breaks, I saw hand signals from them as well, and my sister had organised all of that just before I moved in with mum. So
yeah,
yeah, so
yeah.
that makes sense to me.
Yeah, she's in a totally Masonic world, ladies and gentlemen. When Ninja goes out, goes to the store, she's what's called gang stalking, street theater. All of these things happen to her. Okay, they walk up to her and say things to her. They follow her in the store. The game is on big time for Ninja, and she on top of all of that, she's had to deal with this invalid situation, and at the same time, then now be persecuted to an extreme at this point, because I'm going to make sure you don't miss anything, Ninja. I
Yeah,
remember the
thank you.
things you shared with me, so please continue.
Thank you.
I just want to point out this Navy piece of garbage is really indicative of, of of what's happening in our world today, ladies and gentlemen, because these military, as
Yes.
you know, are the ones destroying our world, which shows that not only do they hate us, but they actually are so psychopathic they don't get it that they're destroying the world for themselves and their families. And I have a good naturopathic retired doctor friend in Southern California, also came out of Navy intelligence, and today she is the most persecuted woman on the planet I know. Who they do everything from putting screwdrivers down the side of her cars or rental cars, marking them up to kidnapping her mother when she tried to take care of her because they just wanted the money and robbed her for $1 million. Navy intelligence, okay, black ops. And so these are the type of people that they say, they're here to serve and protect us. We're on our own. The military machine, is grinding our world to powder, and it's game over because of people like this. And so they figure, just like the Masons, they hate everybody but themselves. That's all they love is themselves, and they even hate the lower echelon degree peon Masons, the doggies. Because they're just there to be used and chewed up and spit out when it's convenient for them. So literally, Ninja's in the middle of an occultic world and attempting to escape. And we sure appreciate your time in listening and considering any possible help that she can get, because she needs to relocate now. Please continue, Ninja.
Thank you. Thank you for explaining it so well. That is part of my motivation. I know I'm upset at the moment and I'm emotional at the moment, but it's just because I have to speak. I want people to know that uh, I've been stuck in the victim mindset my entire life. I'm not doing that right now. All I'm doing is telling my story because of what Desert just said. He's in the Navy. He's part of what is so wrong with this world, and it's happening a lot more. Um, so many people out there don't even realize what is being done to them. They don't realize why they can't catch a break with anything they do. They don't realize why so many people are putting them down all the time. They don't realize why their life is going so badly. It's because that's what this world is like. If you're not conforming, and if you're questioning, um, yeah, if you're doing anything they don't want you to do. Um, yeah, anyway, yeah, so everybody was calm and pleasant while the real estate agent was here, and he was very helpful, very nice man, but he had the hand signal. Um, he left, and before he left, we were talking about when the best time would be to sell the house, and I agreed. I agreed with the around about 4 month time frame because I saw 4 months as still plenty of time for me to get organised. And the house had a better chance of being sold without any issues around February, March next year is the best time to sell a house. So that's what we agreed on. There was nothing set in stone, but that was the verbal agreement to plan for that. As soon as the real estate agent left, he was down my throat, ordering me around, telling me I've got a lot of work to do. I've got to do this, this, and this, and accusing me of being lazy, of stealing, anything he could
Okay,
think of.
okay. Well, let's take it one step at a time. Okay.
Yeah,
So he started jumping down your throat on telling you what you have to do, and what you have to do. One
when I
is
had to
you have
do
to
it. Yep,
oh, when you have to do it, yeah, by when you have to do it, and that you with your and you have no money, and so
yeah,
you with the no money you have to pay for the repair of the
yeah,
air conditioning unit for the house,
yeah.
so they
They're
can
not going
sell
to
it and
do
make
it.
a profit off it and rip you off.
Yeah,
And what's the other things? Oh, and start cleaning up all the furniture, cleaning up the house. What other
and
commands were you given?
I asked. I asked about the dog
Hmm.
because they had said uh, 2 weeks ago, before I went on holiday, they had said if Mum doesn't come back, we will get the dog to the RSPCA. Because I said to
Ah,
them, I said, I can't do it. I can look after the dog for a little while until we figure things out,
yeah.
but I can't physically get him to the RSPCA. And they said, that's okay, we'll do that.
And now they've lied to
Complete
you.
backflip.
They've lied to you. They're
Yeah,
liars.
if there's any
Right.
money involved, which I think you do have to pay some money when you surrender a dog to the RSPCA, I have to pay it. I have to get the dog there with no
Right.
transport whatsoever.
While your sister has control of the bank account with money in it,
Yeah, I have
your
to
mother's
feed the
bank
dog.
account.
I have 3 animals to feed. My payment is going to go down because I'm no longer a carer. It gets cut in
Yeah.
half.
Hmm.
I'm expected to
Which wasn't
survive on that.
anything. Which wasn't anything to begin with, because you had to buy food, you
Yep,
had to pay for the welfare of your mother
yep,
with the money that you earned, so you never could save a dime,
yep,
and now you're out on the street with nothing after 3 years of total slavery.
yep. Um, so I asked that one question, and he it escalated. Um, yeah, he was straight down my throat. And in my defence, I said to him, I said, all I did was ask one question. It's Mum's dog. And you said that you would take care of it. And he turned around and said, yeah, what I'd do, I'd just leave the side gate open. Um,
Yeah, yeah, total irresponsibility. An
yep,
irresponsible little 5-year-old brat
yep,
Navy
yep,
officer, right?
yep. And he also
Yeah.
told me that the real estate agent had just said to him that I need to be out of the house before it goes up for sale. I did not
Uh-huh.
hear that from the real estate agent. I heard this from my monster brother in law.
Yeah.
Um, My sister didn't say it. My brother-in-law said it. He's not my family.
Yeah.
I asked him to leave um, because I'd had enough. By this time, my sister was sitting there crying and not getting involved at all, not defending her sister um, at all. And I asked him to leave several times, and he
Yeah.
refused. He also stole uh, an item from this house, mum's of mums, and went around
Yeah.
sticky beaking at everything
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
getting
It's
his
a really
list
this is
ready
real.
of what's getting thrown. Everything's getting thrown out
Yeah.
in a big
Yeah.
giant bin, and
Hmm.
none of my stuff. I have stuff to go through as well. I have a garage full of belongings, um,
Yeah.
and
Mhm.
it's not allowed to go in the skip. I can't throw anything in the skip bin. I have to get rid of anything of mine that I don't want uh,
Okay.
my own
So
way,
so
and I have
he's
no
going to get a
transport or anything or any way to do it. So,
right. So they're going to get a big dumpster, one of those dumpsters they
yep,
drop on the
you,
property,
yep,
then they use a cable to pull it back on the truck. Anything in the house can go into the dumpster, but what is yours?
yep,
You can't put your trash in a giant vat dumpster. That people do all the time. Even when I'm walking down the street, I'll throw some of my stuff I can't
yeah,
throw in a regular trash into a bigger dumpster because there's nowhere else to put it.
yeah,
But the point is that this is really what's going on, you see, because we got to look at the psychology. He's kidnapped you. He's taken hostage the house. He's kidnapped. The fact that your sister was there crying shows that she knows what he's doing is wrong and she can't do anything about it because she is also his slave as well.
yeah. I actually said to her, uh, because this went on and on and on. Um, I I was trying to gather some more things for my sister to take back to mum, some more clothes and things, trying to find some personal items with my sister. And he kept snooping around the house and then coming back and butting in, saying, "Oh, can I have the key to the garage? Oh, can you show me this? Oh, well, yeah." And uh,
Right.
it got to the
Okay. But
point like he was just repeating himself and repeating himself and repeating himself of what I had to do and how I needed to grow up and start taking responsibility. Um, and I was just screaming at him at the end, just stop, please, just stop. And I said to my sister, I looked her in the eye and I said, "Can you get your husband off this property now, please?" And
yeah.
she
Yeah.
couldn't look at him, she couldn't look at me. All she could do was sit there and say, "Oh, we're going in a minute anyway." Um,
Yeah.
yeah, so he's not to set a foot on this property ever again. I want to feel safe somewhere in this world, and this is the one place where I have a roof for now. Um, and I want to feel safe here. I'm stuck with three animals that I can't care for anymore. Um, um, I'm sorry, Desert. Can you please continue?
That's
I'm
all right.
just going to mute out.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, I've known Ninja, ladies and gentlemen, for a year and a half now, and I've never heard an unkind word ever come out of her mouth, and nor nothing profane, and all she does is she just loves, the truth. The truth is setting her free. She we got her myself and my producer we both got her the Farrar Fenton Bible earlier last year. I was able to forward to her the Aquarian Gospel, which is really the original Gospel, and I've now discovered it's the Diatessaron. Actually, that's a story we'll do on future broadcasting. Major discovery, but Ninja just has her family or her two cats, and she's going to have to get rid of them. She's actually going to have to also send her two cats to the pound, to be able to escape from this situation because there's no way she can carry all of her belongings, and she can't carry all of her belongings. So it's going to be down to her laptop, her books, and her clothing, and that's about all she'll be able to take with her. But she's being booted out, and in fact that she's under such strange targeting by her brother-in-law, that she needs to simply leave as quick as possible. That was my, my statement to her, that she needs to leave as quick as possible, because to be under this guy's control, if he can do this to her now, what's next? Okay, maybe Ninja's subject to his insanity. Her life is in danger right now with somebody that is so profoundly self interested, and with no concern for anybody else. What else might he not do under the right circumstance? Maybe Ninja might snap under the next attack that she endures and has to defend herself. And then what will happen next? Will she be put somewhere because she's having to defend herself? You know, um, or will he accuse her falsely of something, like it's happened to me? It's just okay. And Jennifer's asking, do you have a PayPal or GoFundMe that we can share to try and get you funds? Ninja will have to answer that. Jennifer, I think she has something uh, to utilize, so we'll find out when she gets back in. Ninja has worked tirelessly, produces great graphic art. She was totally introverted. She couldn't even call me on the phone. Now she produces a radio broadcast and all of these fantastic graphics that I could never do. And so literally, she's reaching up to the throne of the sun, with a heart's desire to live pure and right, and she's being totally oppressed by this vampire of darkness. There's no word to describe what he's doing. She's all alone. She's all alone, and the father's using me, using Shelley, using anyone that's in her arena to help her right now, and that's what we're trying to do. We're I know Jennifer has been the victim of targeting. If you go to Jennifer Corlew's site, you're going to see what targeting is all about. She did a profound presentation I watched one day. I am surrounded by Freemasons right now. I've been a hostage in my house for 5 years. They've threatened me. They've tried to run me over. They've follow me at Walmart. They work at Walmart. They own Walmart. The workers there. They're all Masons, and so I see them coming. Of course, they do street theater on the Amish Trail when I go down it. And it's because they're steeped in crime. The reason I'm being targeted is because they know I know too much, and they're steeped in crime. So that's why they've got to play their games. If they would have left me alone, I never would have known they were here. But they're so stupid and so paranoid and so arrogant that they will just do. The manipulators. You see. Why? Because they're engaged in child kidnapping, pedophilia, all of these things, and so they're absolutely, their antennas are up because they know they're the scum of the earth, and that's just like her brother here, her brother-in-law. They're the scum of the earth. These Freemasons. They brag that they're the builders, but yet they also admit, because they're following their Shiva lingam, that they are destroyers of this earth. They're destroyers, and they have destroyed our world, and they have enslaved mankind. They are the taskmasters of the day, the taskmasters, the ones cracking the whip, and they are targeting people all over. There's estimated 2 million people in America under direct mind control, and then the rest of everybody else is under some other soft version of mind control, whether it's television, movies, preachers at the bullpit, or the medical establishment, military certainly, and that's why she's up against right now a professional killer. She's up against a professional killer. Okay, that's what he is. He's trained to kill, and he's killing her with his mouth, with his attitude. And so Ninja certainly needs your prayers, ladies and gentlemen, at a minimum. Okay, but if you can share the broadcast with somebody that may be in a position to help, that may have been there, and done that, then do consider sharing. And thank you for your question, Jennifer. Ninja, are you back with us yet? Okay, she's not back with us. Are you
Yeah,
there?
I'm here.
All right.
I don't know how
All
good I
right.
am, but I'm here.
Well, you're
Yeah.
you're real good. That's how good you are, because you gave everything you had, the little that you had, the little time that you had to produce a broadcast that has brought more important information in one moment of time than at any other time, because we're on the cutting edge. That my life has been dedicated to the knowledge of truth. I had to become a political activist on top of being a scholar and a researcher of our spiritual truth, and we bring it all on the table here. And we have a product and a program that is unsurpassed on the planet. I know nowhere that you get it all like we give it right here. So you're in on it, and that's why also Yeshua said you would suffer persecution. You had
Yeah,
it before
yeah,
you got involved, though. This is something that's been going on for 20 years,
yeah,
and now it's at the impasse, and that's the good news. Your mother now has professional care, and you simply have to escape. She's going to abandon all of her property. She's going to abandon everything from her past right there, ladies and gentlemen, because
and that's
obviously
what
they're going
I've
to take it
wanted
all
to
from her
do.
anyway.
Yeah,
But she's
that.
not going to pack the house for him. She's not going to throw the garbage out for him, and she's not going to take his orders anymore because she doesn't take orders from him. And I told her to call the police the minute he comes around. And she's so we've been trying to help her with good logical, approach to this very dark episode of her life right now that she's going through. The police, she can't call the police. She's gonna, but the police are probably Freemasons too.
Yeah,
All he's got to do is give his little hand sign. Oh, okay, brother, I got you. Yeah, she's got a problem, doesn't she? Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Poor little girl.
Um,
Yeah.
I just want to say thank you. This is my lifeline. From the start, I knew in my heart that this was real. This has helped me evolve, and I give thanks. I never used to, because I didn't know anything. I knew that I was being targeted. I've been targeted with frequencies and gang stalking for many years, and didn't know how to deal with it. The only thing that got me through it was the knowledge of what was happening. Um, but now, this broadcast, making the new channel, the Cosmic Essence as well, doing these live streams for you, Desert. This is what is keeping me going. And this is where the real truth is. Yeah, and I now know to give thanks, for my persecution. Uh, to quote you, Desert, it's going very well, thank you. Um,
Right. In other words, if you're not being persecuted, you must be doing something wrong, right?
yeah,
Because I say I've been persecuted for I can't remember how long now. Decades, decades. I've been in the fire and the frying pan, and so that means that Yeshua really loves you. The fact that you're being tested and tried, but yet you're having victory of light because you know who you are, where you are, when you are, and why you are. You're not an innocent victim anymore. You're wise to the world, and you know the game that's being played, and you got eyes to see, and they can't hide from you. You at first it was what's going on, but now and so that makes it a little better because it causes you to know how to react or not react, and not reacting is the best. He wants a reaction from you. He wants you to punch him in the nose, because then he can retaliate even further. And so that you surrender to the star message of light that tells you to give thanks for persecution for all things, good or bad, because everything has a reason within your walk. And once you get past it, it'll be such a dark cloud that has passed you, and the sunrise that is awaiting you, Ninja, is the greatest sunrise you ever wanted to see. Or as I learned in my persecution when they were torturing me in a mental forensics unit in Charleston, West Virginia, and freezing me in my cell in cold temperatures at 50 degrees while it's snowing outside, and tainting my water so that my brain would feel like it's scrambled. With one day it tasted like aspirin, another day it tasted like perfume, till I got smart enough to grab water outside in the recreation area in my styrofoam cups that I saved from my dinners. And then my head was so, and then I read the Oxford Companion to the Bible, and in there it talked about the crown of thorns. And when I saw that, I got the message, because the crown of thorns, it represents the mental anguish that many of us will go through at one point in our life. The crown of thorns represents mental anguish, but yet the irony is with this particular thorn bush in the Middle East is it has a fruit that is red and it's sweet and it grows the fruit once a year, and so the story is that in the metaphor, in the symbolism is that every now and then you're going to go through a persecution that may be so challenging you don't know if you can endure it anymore. But if you just hang in there with that crown of thorns on your head, that ultimately, as you know, that you never question whether the sun will rise, because your Savior, He will come to deliver you, and what was once a crown of thorns upon your head is very quickly going to turn into the sweetest red fruit you ever wanted to eat. So you have to hang in there. You have to hang on that cross, and so know the truth that you never question if the sun will rise, and the same is true, that your Savior, He will redeem you from this situation and your life from this planet. You're being tested, and after you get through it, you will actually be in a position, as I knew that when I was being persecuted, I said, I know that what I'm going through right now, one day will be able to help others, Ninja. I knew that. It was a proverbial truth. Okay, so
You're
know the
doing it.
truth
You're doing
and
it,
be
Desert.
set free.
You
Yeah,
you've helped so much. Don't get me going again. Uh,
yeah. I was so beaten up that I
yeah,
called a friend in Texas, and I couldn't get the father. So the daughter was on the phone, and I was just crying, because my head felt like it was being beaten by a 2x4. That's how bad
yeah,
I felt.
yeah, yeah,
And there's nothing you can do but just learn to endure the pain.
yeah,
That's all you can do. They're killers. These people are murderers, and they love doing it. They love the power trip. They
yeah,
love
yeah.
thinking they're better
That's
than
it.
everybody else.
I could
Yeah,
tell. I could tell that he was loving every second of it. Um, and he. It was like I can see the pattern. I can see the plan. They got like I've been completely abandoned here now. They got everybody out of the picture and then attacked.
yeah,
And yeah. There's there was always somebody around to help me with my struggles, uh, and now there's nobody here, um, and that's what they wanted.
yeah,
They want me to crumble. They want me thrown away um, a mental institution or locked up. Um, they're doing what they can to make me look bad and incompetent and uh, neglectful. They're using my exhaustion and the situation that they helped create to twist it around and make it look like I was incompetent. And they did not help one little bit to look after Mum. They think they're doing their bit now when all they did was pick her up and put her in a home. They did not spend, my sister did not spend more than an hour with Mum at a time. And that was when, on the odd occasion, when she decided to come and visit. Um, and she thinks she knows what it's like to look after someone with dementia 24/7.
yeah.
Um, and so I know this is only temporary, and I know this is to help get me closer uh, to Yeshua and his beautiful light. I know every time uh, there is a struggle like this, and I get through it, that is the reward. Um, and yeah, and that's what's keeping me going at the moment. And
Okay.
that's why I wanted to do this live. And thank you, Desert, for joining me.
Yeah. Yeah, well, if anybody listens to these broadcasts that you've been producing, and you're nervous, very often you're telling me before the program you're
Yes.
nervous. You got to
I feel like I'm doing it,
hyperventilation.
yeah, brand new,
Yeah,
like never done
you
it
know,
before every time I could start.
right,
Yeah.
right. And I joke with you to make you feel good and try to brighten your moments so you can forget about being scared to come on and everything. And it's a natural thing because I even question some days, can I do this anymore? I just I just want to throw in the towel. I can't do this anymore. We're talking about the psychopathic nature of our world, and we're witnessing our world collapse and then but the only solace I get is because and solace is a good word because that's the sun, you see, because we talk about the good news, and the good news is forget all the darkness that's out there. We have woke up. We have woke up to the higher truth that they have hidden from us all of these centuries, all of these thousands of years, covering the trail of who we are, where we are, when we are, and why we are. So that's the beauty behind this broadcast, because we don't talk about the problems as much as we talk about the solution, which is unraveling the great mystery and being able to read the code. We spill the beans right here on this broadcast and our decode breakers to what they have worked overtime for hundreds and thousands of years to produce. The abbreviation of our Aishavors, of our words, and that's what we're going to do after we're done here. We're going to take a break in a little bit. We're winding up with your story, but we're gonna give. I had a major discovery yesterday on the biggest word of them all, practically,
I
and
can't wait.
I'm gonna talk about among several of them. There's a few at the top, but I'm gonna do that because the light shines. The light
Yeah,
shines for those who are worthy of it, and even though I don't feel worthy of it, but
neither
I mean,
do
but
I.
I pay my dues. I have been persecuted for the better one way or another in this political arena for 30 years, and so it was to temper me. It was to show me the reality of the true nature of this world, who these people really are and what they're really all about. That hate mom, mom and pop and Chevrolet and apple pie. They hate it. They love the pie, but they hate everything else. They hate their dog. They're kicking their dogs just like they are kicking you right now, Ninja. So Jennifer had asked, how can people help you? So you need to let them know, that how they can contact you by email, by Skype, by PayPal. So if somebody out, because this message will get out to other people, how can they communicate with you if maybe they have a friend in Australia that they can then connect you with that's like us? Okay, and we wouldn't want to try to validate any new party coming into your life to make sure they're good people. But or how to make a donation. So give out your information. I think they get the picture here with what's going on. Okay, I think they got it.
Yeah, thank you guys. I know I haven't been paying much attention to the chat. Um, Thank you, Yo, for putting the information in there because I can't really think right now.
Okay, that's your PayPal right
Yeah,
there.
that's
Then
it there, and it's
okay,
also
thank
in
you.
the description, I think, on under all these live streams.
Okay, okay, good.
And I'm so glad you guys get it,
Yeah. But
because
basically, you're going to have to walk out. You're going to have to walk out with what you can carry under your arms on your backpack, and get rid of your two cats, your best friends. You're going to have to get rid of your family so that you can escape this environment and hopefully go somewhere to regroup and to get a part-time job. She wants to work full-time, obviously, ladies and gentlemen, with this broadcast. And if we get enough support, then we're gonna. And as we've told Ninja, when anybody she gives out her offer, anybody who wants the PDFs of the sample dictionaries or the Book of Wisdom or the original Gospel prototype for our translation project, any of those donations that go to her for those PDFs, she keeps half of them. At the moment, she can keep it all because until she moves, we're shutting down. We're going to shut. I told her, don't put any more time into the broadcast. You need to pack. You need to go. Okay. And so she's got a real juggling act in front of her, friends. And we want Ninja to go. She's under threat duress by a sicko, a real sicko, what's his name? Nigel, piece of
Nigel
garbage.
Jeffers. Yeah, Nigel
Nigel Jeffers.
piece of garbage. That's
Okay.
yeah, that's
Well,
good one.
I normally don't like talking that way, but every now and then it feels good to just say it, Ninja. Call a spade a spade.
Yeah.
He's a real piece of garbage. He feels really important, because he can kick you around. He feels like he's really now powerful. Real power trip, a guy kicking around women. And family to boot. That when he came into the family, then we're supposed to love each other as family, even in the world. But no, there's no love with this guy. He's out for himself, just like everybody else. Abandon ship. Every man for himself. The ship is sinking. So we're all going underground. By the way, ha ha ha! You're stuck up on top. We're sorry, so sorry that you're going to burn alive in the UVC radiation, that our world is burning up, all the animals are dying, but they got their little ticket to go underground. That's why they're so arrogant, Ninja. They knew they sold us out. They
Yeah.
know they're part of the sellout program. You
Yeah.
know, they're special. You're not. They are. You know.
Yeah. That's what they
Yeah,
think. Yeah.
that's what they think. Yeah, until they start eating each other's flesh underground because they're starving for protein. You know. Or they need a good sacrifice for Moloch. We must appease Moloch. Let's get Nigel. Yeah, he's a good one to kill. I hated that redhead, that Irishman's blood. Let's kill Nigel. Nigel, you're up on the spit, boy. Okay, you're going to be the first one sacrificed, I'm sure, because you deserve it. Um, so Ninja, did we cover everything? Forgive me, I get a little crazy every now and then. Okay, I
That's
didn't
okay.
know
That's
what I was
okay.
saying.
I'm relying on you even more so at the moment. So
All right. You gotta just be crazy at times to be able to deal with all this stuff. Um, that's I've felt very often I've lost half my mind. In
yeah,
this
me too. Yeah.
persecution I've gone through. But the only reason I can't tell you what it's like to live with wanting to take the rope. I carried a rope with me for the last 20 years, and because I didn't have it together the way I do at this time in my life, because finally the Father gave me the missing pieces to the puzzle. I'm actually able to now convey what He's been showing me. But during those times of my isolation, myself in persecution, living in a gas station in Florida with, trying to remodel it. Some friends owned the property, but I was in a broken down 1930s gas station trying to do a broadcast, or in a Quonset hut in East Texas, taking my bath in a baby pool outside in the middle of the summer. I mean, just I've lived in extreme environments just to be able to not get back in a 18 wheeler, and do 600 miles a day and never go home, so that I could work out the rest of this presentation, of what the Heavenly Father was showing me, to do broadcasting from a grassroots level, and so it's been another 20 years after my initial big persecution, when the state of West Virginia tried to put me away forever, framing me for a crime they committed, and made me look bad, in the public's eye. And so I can't tell you what it's like to, just want to get a rope and hang yourself because nobody cares. I know exactly what it feels like because that's how I lived. It's a lousy way to live, to want to kill yourself, to die because nobody gets it. We
Yeah.
come on here, we bring out the truth like nobody's ever presented it before. And yet it is so deep, and therefore it's not hard to figure that a lot of the lightweights out there can't wrap their mind around it. But yet you see how few really do get it. They're here right now, and it's always less than 10.
Yeah.
Is because the deep thinkers can get it, but we're being assassinated by their tube, not what I mean, not our tube, their tube, because they don't want this message out. So we have no algorithm, we get no promotion on their tube, and so we have to do it by word of mouth. And most people are not promoters; they're not, you know what I'm saying. They just come and listen, but they're not activists or promoters generally. They're just toughing it out in their own
Yeah.
world and
And
survive.
YouTube has made
Yeah,
it harder
yeah,
to get the word out by taking away the little message thingies as well,
yeah,
because we used to share everything in
yeah,
there, like links here, there, and everywhere through those
yeah,
YouTube messaging, and it's
yeah.
gone.
And
Yeah.
then we get people like Barb of Tucson, coming around and then secretly as we learned through you, as we learned through Lynn, investigating me, about my broadcast, because I'm here, not telling it straight, and she knows better, and while she's getting stoned every day, smoking her pot, and thinking she's got another form of enlightenment going for her. And yet this has been a lifetime, and I can explain things in a deep way. I can give you 12 different examples of why, what I'm sharing with you is so, based on scripture, based on etymology. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't just throw it on the table and say take it or leave it, but I show the science.
Yeah.
I give the science, and you're reading for yourself now. Lynn can read for herself. Jackie's now getting it. She's putting words up on her screen on her YouTube, because she knows words are absolutely relevant, and to deciphering, and to and to reading. And same with Yo Shelley. And so you all get it. You have no doubt. You now can see and read it for yourself. I can't make people see anything. You have to see and read it for yourself. So do you want to see some words?
Yes, please. And I have
We-
one. I have
All
one.
right. Well,
I'm
I don't.
prepared.
I don't
I
have
have
any.
one.
Words are swords. Words are swords, but originally they are Eshavors, the royal eye. The royal eye at the center. The word is at the center of everything. The Eshavor is the center, and from there we can pull everything together. Without words, or as another quote I say, that words are at the center of everything, or if we don't know the meaning of a word, we don't know what we mean. And so there is an original thought behind most all words, and we're going to go to the original thought. Let's take a 7-minute break, and Jackie's all good for this apparently. And thanks for hanging in there with us, Jackie. We know you work, you got a job too, and you got family. I can't get over it. She's got 4 little ones. I think they should give out awards. After you get 2 or 3 little ones, you ought to get the Nobel Prize or something for bringing 4 lives into the world. I don't know how women do it. I'm so glad I'm a guy. And anyway, enough of that. So let's go to a break, Ninja, and when we get back, we're going to talk about some real. I'm going to give the code, the word for Egypt. The code Egypt is a code. I'm going to reveal the code here, and I'm going to give a word that is paramount in the ancient tradition of the Hebrew race. I never saw it until I asked the right question. Remember, they don't care what the answers are until you ask the right question. But then I said to myself, wait a minute. If this word is abbreviated, then what's missing? And as soon as I asked the question to myself, I got the answer came. It was real easy, and I'm going to give the play-by-play on that. So we'll probably do that one first because this is a big one.
Yeah,
And,
can't wait.
I'm going to give just a couple examples for any new listeners of original thought that are simple, and then I'm going to give this important one. And what people do with it is their business. And then I don't care. Okay, I'm just so happy that the Father revealed it to me. I get it, and I hope everybody else out there will get it too. So, okay, back to you, and we'll see you on the other side, Ninja. And
Okay.
and by the way, I do love you and everything that you're about, because you're for real, and that's what we want in this world: are people that are sincere and for real and big hearts. And you're too busy working out your own soul novation to be busy minding other people's business or creating problems in this world. That's why I really love you. Okay, you're doing it.
Thank
Okay,
you. Thank you,
all right,
Desert.
all right.
I love you too. Always.
Thank you.
Always. Um, okay, we'll be before I start, before I get set off again. We'll be back after the break, guys. I can't wait. Desert told me that he had the Aishavor of all Aishavors after the last broadcast, and so I've been waiting since then. He wouldn't tell me what it was, so um, okay, so let's do this. See you guys in 7 minutes.
audio check, Jackie, Lynn, anybody. Let me know the audio's coming through. Ninja is having a moment, and so she gave it back to me. Okay, and audio. Oh, I'm coming through. I hear that. I hear myself. I had to mute out my YouTube. I'm enjoying those cute little animals. Isn't it amazing how the little animals can get along peacefully, ladies and gentlemen? A cat and a bird. Give me a break, right? And thank you, Shelley. And so basically, ladies and gentlemen, we just wanted to create a record today for the safety and the welfare of NinjaCat. Um, we gave out the name of her brother-in-law, so the record stands that this Nigel character, whatever his last name is, is an oppressor of mankind. He is par near a psychopath in his behavior, and has is in the process of robbing Ninja for her family estate. Has taken over, has kidnapped her and her house, and she has to escape and abandon her home, abandon ship from this Navy piece of garbage, and Ninja's willing to let it go. Okay, she's not going to fight it. She can't fight it. I told her to get an attorney and all that stuff, but she can't do it. She's just doesn't have the energy. She's been beaten down. Well, what she needs to do is recover and get on with her life, and that's what she's going to do. Thank you. I don't want to name names because donations are sometimes private, and the people don't want. So I just want to thank those of you today who are able to help Ninja out. Okay, thank you so very much for your consideration. And so we're going to talk about the Ace of Wars. I was hoping Ninja would be on here, but we established a record. We established a record. Okay, for if anything happens to her, we have created a record to protect her. Okay, we want to protect the little sanity and the little bit that Ninja has for her life. Okay, so Ninja, are you back yet? Did you breathe deep? Come on, go out the back door and just scream once. It'll feel good. Okay? No, I'm just kidding.
The neighbors
You
would
don't have.
hear.
Yeah, that's right. And. Um, all right, we got you. All right, and we're gonna let you go, and
Thank you.
we're gonna get on with this. Father, that remember he says the battle is his. So when he said when they persecute you, they're not persecuting you, they're persecuting me. They have no idea who you are really inside because you've kept your life hidden in the Moeshiach, as the scripture says. Our lives are hidden within him, so not everybody will know who we are. And when they're coming after us, they're not coming after us; they're coming after him. And I think the Father really loves the challenge, and his day of retribution is right around the corner. He just met his match, and he didn't know it when he went after NinjaCat because you got a big father that carries a big club, and I know it's going to beat him right over the head. Not that we wish harm to this scumbag, forgive the French, but this scumbag will receive retribution for what he's doing to you. It's the natural law.
Yeah.
It's the law of nature. You see that they can't escape the law of nature. That's what's so beautiful about it. That when you harm other people, you're actually harming yourself, and you will receive the reward in due order. When the time is right, and at the time when it happens, the surgical precision that the Father uses to bring the retribution is so perfect that it's like they can't miss it, and their conscience immediately will remind them of what they did to others. He does it in a profound way. I've seen it happen over and over throughout my life, Ninja. I don't want to get into that, but
Wow. You'll have
I've
to
seen
tell me
people.
someday.
Well,
Yeah.
literally, I've had people that have persecuted me. They lost their lives, or their children died in the episode.
Wow.
Because they're in the outer darkness, and they don't want of like father like son, right? These people bring up their children, and that their children become people from hell too.
Yeah.
It's amazing. That's why we have a problem in our world. That's why our world, because the darkness dominates. That's when you look at nighttime. There's only little points of light. We're little points of light in the darkness that are trying to get a message out. We get half a dozen, listeners, and that's all we will get because we are oppressed from every angle. Every year, I get sabotaged by these people. Um, so I create light for them. I ask the Father forgive them, and we go on. So that's all. So I'm going to give a few examples here. and of original thought, and then we'll get into this a Shavor, and then I'm going to be done. Okay, I know that people had to get going today, and then therefore we've lost most of our audience, but we'll get on for the record, and I'm doing it for you, okay? Because it doesn't
Yeah.
matter if nobody else is here. I want you to have the benefit of this a Shavor. I kept you on the cliffhanger, but we're going to
Yes, you
spill the beans
did.
today.
I've been
All right.
waiting.
But
Yeah.
for anyone that's new listening in, I'm going to just give a couple examples of original thought, and then we're going to get into uh, this particular word that I saw, and I'm losing my voice. It's really perturbing me to get old. Because I don't have the same stamina I used to have. But the word, so one word that I'm going to give an example of original thought on is like this one here. Alarm, ALARM. We put the alarm on if we go to work, right? But look at the root. Remember, words are abbreviated and they're compressed together. And thank you for those hearts, Jackie. That's so sweet. Jackie Evans has such a beautiful YouTube channel. She does that. I just can't get over it. Look at that. Says we got one listener, but I actually know that we have at least three listeners right now.
Yeah,
At
I
least
see
three.
three, but it
So
keeps
their
going up
tube
and
is
down.
their tube
Yeah.
is lying to us and
Yep.
wants to discourage us
Yep.
from doing a broadcast. Their tube, not our tube. You know what I mean?
Oh no,
But
there's
anyway, we'll
four.
continue on.
Yeah.
There's four. There's
There's
four.
four, at least four. It just went up one. It's going up
Yeah,
and down, up and down, up and down. Went down to
mine
two
is
a
on
minute ago.
one. That
Yeah.
means I'm the only viewer right now. Can you imagine? That ain't happening, right? Okay. All right. So there you go. All arms. So what does alarm mean? All arms. So you hear the original thought in the beginning. When there was an emergency sounded? What was the response? Remember, it's all about warfare,
Yeah.
right? That's how all these words are based on. Like flower means the flow of war, and then garden really means the war at noon, the sound of war, garden in English. English is and the root etymology is two words. Garden, din is sound. Gar is war. So literally, the word garden means the sounds of war. Flower means the flow of war. So here in the word alarm, what do we get? All arms, all arms. Everybody, pick up your gun. We got to go fight. So the word alarm we still use today is based on warfare. You
Thank you,
see,
Desert.
alarm, ding, 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 ding. What? I'm
Thank
sorry.
you. My chat is delayed, and I saw all arms in it just before it went up in the chat. Thank you. Thank
All
you.
right.
Thank you, Father, for my struggle. Things are opening up already. Um,
Hmm?
yeah, sorry
Okay.
to cut you off,
All right.
but that's
That's okay.
amazing. Um,
Right. And so remember we talk about the superior value of the letter A, right, Ninja? We talk about
yeah,
how
yeah,
you don't have any I's, you have A's. That's the original word. You have A's. You use your A's to see. Why? Because it's the first letter of the alphabet. It's the very star constellation that Orion's pointing at with his bow and arrow, saying this is where it
yeah,
begins with the A, which is also the pyramid. It's a symbol of light. It's a symbol of infinity, from infinity to infinity, from the point, from infinity, and to the projection outward to continual infinity. And there's two watching now, even though we got about four or five.
yeah.
I know that.
I have two
Okay,
as well.
so yeah, so
Yeah.
arise, um, Arise. So the A, so see in the A, arise. What do you think you see in the arise? Do you think you see anything? Uh,
Arise, Arise.
okay,
Um,
a rise, a
I'm
rise,
just
and
thinking.
what it means then is get ready,
All rise? No?
rise up in the light. Okay, are you still delayed?
Yeah, I just saw it just now.
All right. Rise up in the light. So the A rise. So you see the A has been preserved in the Middle English, late Middle English word arise. Rise up. We would say rise up today, but back then they said a rise, right? Because the A is the first thing that rise is the sunrise, right? A
Yeah,
rise is the
yeah,
sunrise, right?
yeah,
Rise up in the light. Arise.
yeah.
A rise. Okay.
That's
So that's a
beautiful.
Middle
Oh, now
English.
I've got
That's
one
Middle English.
watching. Yeah.
Okay. All right. That's all right. We're not discouraged because if only you were here, I want to do this one for you because I didn't do it, privately last night, and so we're saving it, and people will hear the broadcast.
Yeah.
They'll come in on the recording, and so here's another one more example, and then I'll get into it. All right.
Okay.
So L.A. Okay, so Los Angeles. Remember we talked about the Lost Angels.
Yeah.
Los Angeles literally means the Lost Angels, which means the fallen watchers, which are the Vekoresh, the fallen ones, the Aryan race that fell, the children of Adam that wanted to enslave mankind with all the superior knowledge that they had, and so literally L. A. for Los Angeles, or as we could put it together as L.A. Is actually I'm going to give you the original thought. In other words, the sense of L as in EL, right? EL in the L, like Elohim, right? But yet I said that L comes out of Babylon, right?
Yeah.
And it's a cover for the original word, which then is Ul, O-O-L. There's your owl, okay? Ul, and then apostrophe. And then the A, as it sounds, is the A-Y for the I. So L-A, and then I'm going to put down the transliteration of that is out of the owl's eye. Okay, O-U-T-O-F, the O-W-L-S-E-Y-E. Okay, so out of the owl's eye. And so literally, um, the fact that the occultic are calling themselves owls and they're given the owl symbol, right? They give the owl symbol, and they think there's you know what I'm saying? Like that's what your piece of garbage brother-in-law is doing, right? He's
Yeah.
giving the owl symbol, saying, "Hey man, I know I'm not cool. I know what's going on in this world. Nobody else does, you know." And he just feels so powerful because he's got special knowledge, you know. He's got special knowledge, so he can treat every.
Are you there, Desert? You just disappeared.
I just what was the last word I said?
He can treat every. And then
Buddy,
it. Yeah.
like dirt, and then he thinks he's so special. Yeah, I hit my mute button. Sorry about that.
Oh, whoops.
And so, okay, so literally in the because now he's got his little trinkets that his Baba Bagan Wandi Rashish at the head of the lodge gave him a little secret. Oh, Bhagwan, thank you so much. And now he's feels so important, because he's got the inside scoop on how the world really runs. And so you're a piece of garbage, and he's special.
Yeah.
That type of stuff.
Yeah.
It's just amazing. Um, and thank you, Jackie. She said, "Don't be discouraged." It's just funny, Jackie. I mean, this is like the first time, we've seen it go down to a number one when we have a few friends on here. So
Yeah.
we must really be hitting the nerve. And but I'm not discouraged because I always want to have a conversation with one anyway. And Ninja, is. In other words, it's just like having a conversation with just Ninja, but then if anybody else wants to be a fly on the wall, you can be that, That's what we're doing here. And so LA then in the code is the ule, right? It's the ule, the owl eye. And so literally LA not only then stands for the Lost Angels, but it's in the implication of what they were in that they were the owl eyes, right? Because they could see in the night. You know what I'm
Wow.
saying? They knew how everything operated in the universe,
Yeah.
right? They could cut stone that we can't cut today, like those polygonal shapes, right? They look like puzzle pieces, and they come together with not even a hairline crack in it. You can't even put a piece of paper in there, and there's Audio Skywatcher. He says, "I'm a fly." Okay. Very good to have you there, Audio. And so the owl eye, is what these fallen ones were in the metaphor of that they are owls, that they knew how everything operated in the cosmos. It's what they inherited from Adam. If anyone will go to
Yeah.
the cosmic essence and hear the story about who Adam really is, it'll blow your mind. Okay, and then the fallen watchers, because it is one story, and it's not about some invisible creatures with wings on their back that fly around. That's a false narrative. That's why we're told never to make images of things up in the sky, up in the sun, up in the or in the on the earth or in the water, because these create false images and create a false narrative. And so when we see these pictures of men or women with wings on their back, like in the Vatican or in Babylon or in Mezar, Egypt, or in India, What that is a picture. Like, in other words, if you get wings on your back, it means that you have transcended from the lower world into a higher world. Okay, so when you see these pictures of people with wings on their back, it means that it's their family. They're claiming that their family ancestors transcended. They took off, and so that's how the code works. So it's amazing that the word LA, that's why you see LA, as the biggest city in America. That's why we see in LA a place called Hollywood, the Hollywood, where they then do their magic Holly wand, in their a great occultic trickery, where they tell us exactly what they're going to do to us, and we don't get it, and then so yeah, so there you go. So there's LA, okay, and I just wanted to share a little bit. But now I've not done this presentation before, and so it's going to be a first time. And each time I hope I get better when I do it. But this is
Yeah,
it's a major one, so I need to
I
I need
can't
to
wait.
see where how to roll into this one. Okay, but yesterday basically when I was reading. Um, and it goes back to the question again. Remember, as I said, they don't care what the answers are, as long as you're asking the wrong questions, right? And so I asked a question, and because, as you know, with many of the words that we talk about that are abbreviated, that once you know the parent, what's called the parent root form, Ninja. You know what picture I want to see, Ninja? That beautiful tree, that copper scenery with that one tree that is like a half moon,
Okay,
with the
I
the
almost
yeah
put that up and then I decided to
yeah
do this
that
one,
that
so
I
I can
love
put
that
that
one.
up
So
for
let's
you.
do that. Let's do that. That's a perfect one for this
It's there.
discussion. It creates a beautiful aura. Okay,
Yeah.
and I love the dirt roads too, though. I lived on those in Colorado. I'd go 75 miles on dirt road before I get on the highway going to Durango, Colorado, just to do shopping. 100 miles to go shopping when I did that way back then, when I was 18. Okay, so a little footnote on my history. I've been there, done that, ladies and gentlemen. I've been around the horn, and but okay, so it's about asking the right questions. And so, as when we abbreviate, we talk about the abbreviation of words. There are exact root forms. That's why our Phoenician alphabet, which is misnomered as the Phoenician alphabet, is so important, because these capital letters. Notice we have a dual system. We have capital letters and we have minuscule letters, the small letters. But so never in history did any culture ever have a dual system. They had one or the other, and
Yeah.
so now we have a dual. So it's confusion. That's Babylon, right? Which one is it? And so, but it is the capital letters, because they're the straight lines, and the straight lines are the only thing you can write in sand, and that's why that is the original Sanskrit, not Sanskrit, but sand, in the sand script. And because you can write straight lines in the sand. So this is how they covered our trail, because they took the word Sanskrit and they put it on something that's demotic in India, and they told us that's Sanskrit, but that's the lie. You see, and unless you became a deep study in this arena, you would never know that. I don't, as far as I know, I may be the only one who's ever talked about it, or I haven't written about it, but I talk about it, and so that's the great enigma, in this discovery process, being a intellectual archaeologist, interpreting scripture and writings, and monuments on the wall, because it's all in front of us, but we have to piece it together. We have to know about the conspiracy of mankind, that he's a big liar, just like your brother-in-law, and that we have to then realize, okay, wait a minute. If I'm being lied to, okay, that's a tip off. So let me see, if I can pierce the veil, and find the lie. Let me just take a sip of my tonic here, and I'll be right with you. Mm.
Okay. I just want to jump
All
in
right.
and point out Kip's comment as well. So it looks like there's
Okay.
three different types. Desert.
Right.
Yeah.
Cursive, right. Well, cursive is a sieve, right?
Yeah.
It's a sieve. It's full of holes. If that's another form of demotic,
Yeah.
because never were we supposed to write letters that were connected to each other. One symbol was by itself. That was what we call the capital letters. Capital
Wow.
for the head. Oh, capita means head. You see, they're telling us in the word that it's the head alphabet. It's the chief. That means the chief alphabet. The one that's going to tell us a story about who we are, where we are, and why we are. So So now, then I'm trying to remember how I got on this thought. So let me think here.
Okay.
Okay, so it was just about the words, and then all of a sudden I said, well, wait a minute. Of all the words that I've been transliterating and finding the original element, you know what? Even though I transliterated the word Israel, and let me
Yeah.
put it in here, okay?
Yeah.
Isarel, Israel, Isra, I got it wrong here. Rael. Well, remember that I was government raised, Ninja, so I have to work on it sometimes. Israel then is Asha, Ray, Ayool, Eshareul. Okay, and so, well, what does the ul imply? Of course, it implies the owl, right? It implies, well, right in front of it is the ray. So there's the ray of light that allows you to see, right? So Asha means the royal eyes. So the royal eye of light that allows you to see. That's what Eshareul was supposed to be, right? The royal. Let me type it so people can see it. The Royal, the Royal Eye of Lyght, the Royal Eye of the Royal Eye of Light, and we'll just say I can't remember what I said in the moment I'm racing here. And Vision, Vision. So that's close enough. I'll have to go listen to the replay too. The Royal Eye of Light and Vision. Okay, and so but wait a minute. There's a problem. Then I realized there was a problem with this, right? Because we see how could who we call Israel be the Royal Eye of Light and Vision when they didn't have any vision, right? When we saw this culture then ultimately become annihilated by Yahweh because they what did they do? They built monuments, what are also called idols, but they were really the columns. They built the two columns and the altar in a grove. They planted groves. They were forbidden to plant groves. Okay, other than a peach grove or avocado grove. They could grow fruit groves, but don't grow a grove of pine trees or of oak or something that you're going to have a ritual sacrifice in. And but that's what they did. And so they were annihilated. So they didn't have royal eyes. They did not have royal eyes. And that's why now when we talk about, that we have to become the second born, because we find out that the first creation called Israel in the corruption, Esha Reul in original thought, the firstborn, they couldn't go. We got the story out of Meitzar, out of Egypt, right? The firstborn have to die. And that's why we talk about being born again, right? But the correct narrative is to become the secondborn. And so when I realized that, I said, wait a minute. So the firstborn did not have the royal eyes of vision. And so what's going on here? So then I remembered the story about Jacob, who we call Yaakov, Yaakov,
Yeah.
which means seed of light. So as we've done all the presentations on the word Aisha, and we show people how that the royal title passes down from one generation to the other. It started with Sarah. Sarah was correctly Aisha Reha, and then she has a son by her slave because she couldn't bring forth babies, and she came second. Get the picture. And so she tells Abraham, "Go to my slave," and he has a baby through the slave, and it's called, we call it in the corruption, Ishmael, but it's really Eshamaul. Eshamaul, right? There's the eye for vision because he was going to be enlightened by his father Adam, no matter whether he was born by a slave woman or not. Because this was a royal line, a royal family, and it said out of Zavramhaim, many nations would come. And so his son by his slave is Eshamaul, but then Yahweh says, no, you're not going to have your seed by a slave. But yet wasn't that the firstborn? And normally it's the firstborn in a household that gets the inheritance, right? And so
Yeah.
Ashmael is rejected because he's born of a slave. Is it possible, Ninja, that the slave is the symbol of the serpent? Okay, I'm going to pose the question. We'll get the answer in a little while. Okay, so he says no. Yahweh says through Melchizedek, Shem, correctly Asham, that when he came to visit him, and he says this time next year your wife will have a seed, And he said, and then she laughed. It said she laughed in the tent when she heard it. And then what happens? She has a baby, and so he's called Ashiach. And so the free one is called Ashiach, which is the form of Moashiach, which is a form of Moses, as it said that Moses would be like him, and by definition. And there we have the word Messiah in the word Moashiach, which is the original Moashiach. And so Ashiach is Isaac, okay? And then the royal title didn't, so the royal title leaves Ashemaul, goes to Ashiach. And then from Ashiach, then Isaac has two sons. There's your duality again. And the first, they're twins, but they're different. They're very different. One is red-headed and spotted. That's quite an enigma in nature when they're an Aryan family, that he comes out like that. Interesting that your brother is also redheaded and spotted too, isn't it?
Yes, he is.
And so
Brother-in-law.
Asia, so I,
Yeah.
yeah,
Sorry.
brother-in-law, yeah, and he regards no law. That's rather interesting too.
Yeah.
And so Esau is the firstborn, and Jacob in the corruption is the secondborn. Okay, but yet he's called the seed of light. Jacob means seed of light. Esau is correctly Asha Ashayal. Ashayal means the royal eye that goes round because he was the hunter. So the royal eye that goes round. So I'm showing how the title. But remember, then Ashayal sold his birthright because he was hungry, and for a mere bowl of pottage, he sold his birthright to his brother Yaakov. He says, "What is it worth to me anyway?" Because if you imagine, they're both twins, right? So one gets born 1 second before the other one, so he's now privileged to get the inheritance, right? And the other one's not. Doesn't really quite sound fair, does it? But that's the way it works. But what happened? He sells his birthright to his brother because he despised it. He had already married Canaanite women, He was already marrying women that had red heads and were spotted, not the pure Aryan line, you see? That was the problem. And because he loved the world, and the world is represented as spotted, when you with the Irish, the spotted, who were the Celtic, who were the children of Cain, with the red stain of blood. That was the sign that was given to them. That's where they come from. And so what happens? So the birthright has been sold to Yaakov, to Jacob, the seed of light, and then Jacob then takes the blessing because he was entitled to it, but he had to steal it by stealth because his brother thought he was still entitled to something when he already sold his birthright. How could he be worthy of the barokim of Yahweh when he sold his birthright? He can't possibly be worthy of it now. You see? And so Yaakov, by his mother, who represents the virgin light, tells him, I'm going to put a clothing on you, and I'm going to wrap your arms with skin, and you're going to go in and you're going to take the blessing. Do what I tell you to do, and may any curse be upon me. And so he does it. He listens to his mother. And so then he has to flee. And in the process, he gains a great estate. And he's being persecuted by Laban. Laban means the bane, the worthless. Laban, the worthless, right? And so he has to work with somebody who's worthless, just like you got to be next to somebody who's worthless right now, like your brother-in-law, Ninja. You see this a parallel,
Yeah, I'm
right?
seeing parallels everywhere. Desert. Wow.
Jacob was the most persecuted, by his brother, by his relations in Padan Aram, Mesopotamia. It was one frying pan to another. He had to leave
Yeah.
his homeland, had to escape, from his brother. And so on his way back, he's saying just as they're getting ready to cross the river and go into his promised land that he now had a right to, a legal right, he's in fear for his life and for his family because he knows Esau is a mighty hunter. He killed Nimrod, of all people. He killed Nimrod. I mean, this guy was tough, and he's going to face his brother, and so he's on his knees all night long asking for a baruch game, for a blessing, for a sign. Give me a sign. Tell me, the promises belong to me, Yahweh, and so in this, and in our scriptures it said he wrestled with an angel, but he didn't literally wrestle with anybody. He wrestled with himself. He wrestled in his mind. You know what I'm saying? That when you're struggling like you are, that's what you're
Yep.
doing, right? You wrestle
Yep.
in your mind how are you going to deal with this situation?
Yeah.
And so he's wrestling, and in the process, by the sun up, he gets it, and so the Yahweh, who is the great Elohim, the great Elohim who is Yeshua in this great mystery, then says to him, "Okay, I am giving you a Barokim, and and you will no longer be known as Yahweh, seed of light." And wow, I mean, you can't ask for a better name. You mean I'm not going to be known as Yaakov? I mean, and it's going to be, of course, he still will be, but you know what I'm saying? He's given another title, and he's told, you will now be known as Asha Re, Asha Re'ul. In the King James Court says Israel, but as you know, I defined it right there, Asha Re'ul, right? And then his eye was put out. And so when the word, it said that his thigh was put out, it's not his thigh. I'm going to show you the code. Let me type in there, please. Everybody hang in there. H-E-I-T-H-I-G-H. That's it, right? Yeah, there it is. Okay. And so I'm going to show you the code here. Hang on. If you've been following it, you'll be able to see it, right? Of return. Okay, there it is. The eye of return. The thigh is a code. The th, right? The th is the. And then okay, then thi. Then we know I is correctly EYE, which is correctly AY, and then the last part is the GH, which is really the number 8, which is therefore also the RETURN. Okay, there's the code. So the priesthood didn't want us to know that when he was called Israel, that his right eye was put out. Or excuse me. It would have been his left eye. It would, as we see it in the movies, they show us in the movies. It's either the right or the left. That's it. Really irrelevant.
The right. They cover the right eye.
You're right.
Yeah.
You're right. Thank you, Ninja. Because I just saw it in The Exorcist. I remember the guy turning after he's hammering the steel. He turns to look at Max von Sydow, and his right eye is put out because they put out the light. The right is the light, right? Remember that the same word as RIGHT is, okay, LIGHT. The code is covering it. The right hand is the light because it's the strong arm, right? Your right arm is the strong for most people. And so the code, I saw it one day. This was, at least a decade ago, if not 2. I saw this part of it. I knew I was still in Florida, in fact, so about 15 years ago, and I saw that the thigh was a code because it wasn't his thigh that was put out; it was his eye that was put out. And at the same time, his right eye is put out. He gets the title, Esharei Ul. And I'm thinking, there's something missing here. And then I said, what's missing? I say that all the words are abbreviated, but I missed one. I was able to transliterate Israel into the original thought of the primitive root form. Is Asha, and Ra is Re, and El is Ul. I knew all that now, but here it is. So I said, so what is missing? And it didn't take me but practically half a second to see it, Ninja, because we're talking about that duality again, right? And so Israel, who we call Israel, we know they didn't have eyes to see, right? Remember when they came out of Meitzar, they went into the wilderness. What did they do? They complained. Moses, are you going to get us some food? What about this? What about, remember, then they made a bull, a golden bull, to worship it when he went up to get the law. These people were the most undisciplined, most without vision that we ever wanted to see on the planet. After they saw the parting of the waters, after they saw all the miracles, they still did not have eyes to see, right?
Yeah.
Other than 2, and we're going to go there. We're going to go there, but not yet. Okay, so basically, so when he says, "I'm giving you a name," I'm giving you a new name, and here it is, and it is. S-H-A Ray RAYOOLVAT. Okay, Asha Reulva. Esha Reulva.
Wow.
Esha Reulva. Because it is, now you're looking at two animals. You're looking at the serpent and the owl. And the question then is, which one is it? Because the firstborn is the serpent that crawls upon the ground and can't walk, in the metaphor, to live, right? And he's eating the dust of the earth, whereas the owl is the visionary who sees all things. And so he gave him a title that was of the duality, that means out of your seed will come two nations, one of the earth and one of the sky. And so it's Esha Reulva. Esha Reulva. And that is the primitive original of Israel. And so now get this, because I'm going to now. By the way, here's the word. Get this, because we got to see things deeply. Okay, the word serpent is sir, and the original word is uh, okay. Okay, serpent is servant. And so who we call Israel was a servant. They were serving a purpose in order to tell us a story about our creation and who we are, where we are, why we are, and when we are. And the original word is, with a silent A in front of it, sharfan. The sharfan, and then we can hear the word sharpen in there, and the shark fin, and the serpent. It's all out of that one word, the original. Okay, so Israel was a servant. Even though they were not worthy, they served a purpose, did they not, in the narrative, in the story? They were complainers, they were idolaters, they were all of these things, right? But yet, they're being used by Yahweh in spite of them. They're not worthy. They're you know what I'm saying? They're just like the rest of the people of the planet, right? They're stupid at times. And so now let's look at so the serpent is the servant. And so now remember, so what happened in the wilderness? That it was said that none of those who came out of Meitzar, of the adults, could go into the promised land. Whoa! You know, I always thought that was profound, Ninja. You know, that none of them can go, but two. Now the question is, who are they? Who were the two that were allowed to go into the promised land? Ninja, I know you're new to the scriptures, so it's okay if you don't know. But do you know offhand?
Not offhand, no.
Okay.
When
Okay.
you
Well,
say it, I'll probably go, oh, yeah, okay.
yeah. Right. Okay. Well, I'm going to type it in here.
Okay, waiting for the delay.
Hang on. You make a dun 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 dun. You know, something like that. Okay. Y H
I'll just giggle instead.
A N V A T. Okay. The important one is, it was Joshua, Yeshua, who in the primitive is Yal Shulan. I spelled it wrong. Let me try it again. YAHLSHOOLAN. That's what you get when do live. Okay. Okay. Yashulam Va. Okay. That's, you've heard me all along say Yashulam Va is the most primitive, right,
Yeah,
Ninja?
yeah.
Okay, so remember, the promised land on earth was just simply a picture of the promised land in the mind, right? In other words, what is below is like what is above. What is above is an image of what is below, right? So remember, the promised land is no more today, right? That now we got Arabs over there fighting. We got a pseudo Israel. You know, it's a battleground, right? You know, it's a warfaring. And, you know, it has nothing to do with the scriptures today. It's strictly you know, what my point is, that the promised land was a picture of something greater, right? A picture of something greater. We were told we had to be second born. So let's ask the question, in that picture, who was able to go into the promised land? Yeshua, who is correctly Yashulamva, and Caleb, who is correctly Caleb. Let me spell that for you, okay? Because it may be relevant if we look at it. Caleb, who then would be Khaylav. Okay, and I'm going to put a silent A at the end of it, and it is the keys of lava, the keys of love.
Wow.
Okay, Caleb is the key.
Wow.
So what went in? What was allowed to go into the promised land? Ninja, get ready. I hope you're sitting down
I
because
am.
Yashul and Va. Remember, I realized that the serpent was missing on Israel, right? It was Esha
Yeah.
Reulva, and so now you have the owl and the serpent both in the title. And guess what? The only ones who could go into the promised land uh, were the two, Yashulamva and Caleb. And so Yashulamva, what does Yashulamva mean? As you heard me say it over and over, this is what blew my mind. This is what it was perfect. It tells the story. It now proves that everything I've been saying all along about the meaning of the word now confirms the very story that I'm sharing with you today about the missing link in the word Israel, which is Yah Eshavre Ulva. Okay, because Yah Shulin Va means the knowledge of the one serpent that goes round. So the only people that can go into the promised land are those that have the knowledge of the serpent, the one serpent that goes round. You see? That's life. The knowledge, remember, then Moses was told in the wilderness, put a serpent on a cross. And if anybody could see it, they could what, Ninja? They
Um.
could live. They could
Yes.
live. If you can see the
Wow.
serpent, you can live. And so there were two qualities that came out of Zavram Haim. One is of the earth, one is of the air. And so the only ones that can go to the promised land are the ones that can see the serpent because they are the serpent and they don't get it, you see. And so Caleb then means the fiery keys of love, and those who have the fiery keys of love are the other aspect of those who can go into the promised land.
Wow.
I didn't see that one last night.
Still wowing.
I'm telling you, this is major revelation, and it's so true, correct, complete, and not
Yes.
misleading. See? It's in the words. It's
Yes.
in the Eshavor.
Yes.
It's in the Eshavor. Yeah. We lost our entire audience. We've got two people.
Oh
I guess
yeah,
that's
I don't
B
care.
and Shelley.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful.
That's okay.
I'm gonna have to. There was so much in that. I'm gonna have to listen to that over and over.
Yeah.
That was
You see, the
amazing.
point is that Ninja, you can see the serpent. Oh, we got Lynn there.
Yeah.
Okay. It says I got two, one and two people listening.
Yeah, I see two
So
as well.
yeah. So Ninja, you already see put the serpent up. Come on, put the picture up now. It's appropriate to show what people the serpent is. You got to see the serpent. So if you can see the knowledge of the serpent that goes round is what can allow you, because
Oh,
it is about
okay. Hang
knowledge.
on.
Where there is
There's
no knowledge, the people perish. People perish for a lack of knowledge. Look at all these listeners, and they're not on
yeah.
the board. I can't get over it.
There's going to be a
Um,
black screen for a second because I forgot to put it up.
okay,
Yeah, it
okay.
won't.
So
It'll be quick.
uh, that's okay.
Yeah.
That's all right.
Please continue.
All right. Well,
And
well.
thank you.
I'm ready for the promised land. That's what I'm ready for. The knowledge of the serpent. Here, here's my note. So the knowledge of the serpent then allowed them, to go into the promised land. That was it. That's why only two of all the adult males were allowed to go. Because why? Because it was Joshua who said, "Hey, Moses." When the others said, "Hey, we're not going there. We're like grasshoppers to these people. They're so big. We got giants over there, and we got all these people. We're afraid, and so literally, then they were told, okay, because you don't trust Yahweh after seeing all of those great miracles, and you still don't get it, okay, you're not going into the promised land. You're going to die in the wilderness. And the wilderness is symbolic of the earth. You're going to die in this earth unless you can see and read it for yourself. And so the only ones that were allowed to go was Joshua and Caleb, because they had the love, they had the vision, and they could see the serpent. You see, and that's Ninja. This is bad for broadcasting. How long is it going to take you?
I'm just looking
Um,
for the file.
okay. Okay.
I'm
Then just
almost
go
there.
back to the. All right, you got it. All right, because we did this before.
I know. I
Uh,
won't take as long. I'm
all
almost there.
right. All right.
Okay.
So anyway, there's the story. Okay, it's people were going to have to follow this broadcast a while and go back and listen to some of the other production, because they got to realize that there are exact primitive root forms that we received that was breathed into Hadam, And this is what they have stolen from us. They want us stuck in the Hebrew and the Greek, and not, don't look at that Indo-Germanic. Don't look over there, you know. But okay, but I want to see the one with the shirt and the pants.
Oh, you want to
That
see the
was the one.
shirt pants? Okay.
Yeah, yeah, because that shows. I mean, that's good. This is good. This is from Mozart. This is from Egypt.
Yeah.
Okay, but now we're going to see what they get us putting on every day.
Okay.
Okay, you
I
haven't seen the
hadn't
picture.
had this in the OBS and I've been meaning to do it for a while, so
All
I
right,
thought you meant that
well,
one.
way to go, way to
Um,
go. Yeah. Okay, and so I'm
okay.
getting talked out.
I have a
So
word, but yeah.
uh, all
Um,
right. Well, just let me see. Okay, and so okay. By the way, the word thigh has another code, and I didn't elaborate on it well enough. But the word thigh has the same base element as an anagram as this word, which I showed in the GH by itself. You see, so the idea of return is in the eye. So Jacob had one of his eyes put out, showing that one of his race was going to be of the earth. They were going to be the serpent. Now, let's ask the question, what happened to Jacob? I mean, after he finally inherited the promised land, his brother Esau, Y'all didn't kill him. Oh, I guess everything was going to be fine and dandy now, right? No. Whoa, the 10 first sons that he had hated his brother Vole Shaphe, the one that was going to save the tribe. They hated him to the point that they wanted to kill him. But because one brother talked him out of it, they sold him into slavery and banished him from the family forever. Okay? Banished him. And so that's the eye being put out, Ninja, right? If you hate your family, like your brother-in-law and your sister hate you, then you
yeah.
must have your eyes put out, right?
Um, wow. Wrong eye
You
though.
can't
When I was
see.
5, I had an operation on my eye, but it was my left eye.
Okay. Well, but
Sorry,
the
I was
idea
just
of
thinking of that.
one,
Yeah.
the idea of having one eye put out is the symbol of having both of your eyes put out. If you got one eye out, it's like having both. In other words, in the symbolism, you see that there were two kinds of people going to come out of him,
Yeah. Yeah.
of this beautiful tribe of Abraham. One of them, which is correctly Zavramhaim. Okay, one of them is of the earth, and they're stupid, and the other one is of an enlightenment.
Yeah.
You see, they're not of this world. One loves the world, one hates the world.
Yeah.
And unless you're being persecuted, Ninja, I mean, if you had a car, you had money in the bank, you had, everybody loving you, Ninja, she's the best we've ever, you know what I mean?
I wouldn't. Yeah. I wouldn't be here.
You're not gonna
Yeah.
transcend.
Yeah. I
You're
wouldn't
not
be
going
here
to
doing this
transcend
program right
because
now.
everything's going good. That's why
Yeah.
your brother-in-law is sold out to the world. He's a sellout to his own estate, to his own heritage. He sold himself out. He's his first enemy and worst enemy. You see, because he's not living by higher truth, by the natural law. He's out for himself, what he can get while he's here, as soon as possible, you know. And so anyway, bottom line, Ninja, it's about that serpent again. You see, but Israel is the corruption, and you see the reason they took it off. They took the serpent off of the word Israel is because they knew that they were the serpent, and they didn't want anybody to see it. So let's ask the
Wow.
question then, Ninja. Where did the serpent go? Let me type it in there, okay? You're gonna love it, of
Okay.
course. V-A right there. The serpent of Cain.
Cool. Wow.
The
Are you
serpent
there?
of Cain. You see? Did I? Yeah, I'm here. Do you hear me?
Yeah, you went in and out. Yeah.
All right. I don't know what happened. But anyway, you see, the serpent of Cain, Vatican.
Yeah.
So now they're proud to put the Vat at the front of their word. You see, that's the serpent of Cain. But
Yeah.
but Israel
Wow.
had it at the end of the word. You see, okay, and so this is the great mystery, Ninja. This is the great mystery we're dealing with. We have to know words.
Yeah.
If people perish for lack of knowledge, perish. Why? Just for lack of knowledge. They think they know something, but they really don't know anything, right?
Yeah.
And then they're going to beat you over the head with their false knowledge while, you do a deep study and, you've actually learned something, and then everybody hates you because, no, my King James doesn't say that. Yeah, my preacher told me, and then, but, as everybody listening in knows, we go where nobody else goes. Nobody, because they wanted us stuck in Hebrew and Greek, which is controlled by the priesthood. When we got to get back to original thought, based on symbol, and all you got to do is look at the capital letters and learn what the symbol means, and it will blow your mind, because it is the story of creation. It is the story of life. The symbols are telling you something, but nobody can read it because nobody taught you how to read. And that's what we're doing here, as you well know. So that's my story, Ninja, and I'm sticking to it. How about that? As they all say, it's an old cliche they've been
I
saying here
know,
lately.
we say it down here too. Can I give you my word?
Sure, sure. Let's hear it. And
Okay.
then we'll wrap it up. We're going to
Um,
wrap it up now. All
okay.
right.
Lynn knows this because I typed it earlier this evening. When it was in my mind, I just put it straight into our little chat.
Let's go back to that beautiful tree. I don't want to look at this little
Okay,
guy sticking
sorry.
his tongue out at me.
Um,
And those faded jeans, come on. They
yeah,
can't even have some
they're
good blue
trendy.
jeans on there.
Yeah.
Well, somebody's been crawling on his belly all of his life. I guess so.
Okay, you'll see. you'll
Shirt
see,
plus pants equals shirt pant.
you'll see the
Shirt
tree
pant.
in a minute.
All right.
Um, okay, so I'm just going to type it in the chat, and then we'll have a little conversation about it. Um, so we need to fill in a few seconds while I type this.
Oh,
um,
you got a big one, huh? Okay.
yeah, it's a long word. Yeah.
Right. Well, I was going to do Egypt, but I'm too burned out to do any more talking. And
Okay.
and
Well,
we got
this
buffering.
one's this.
Okay.
Okay. We're nearly done.
Right.
This one's simple. It's just a long word, and I
Uh
didn't
huh.
see this before, and I wanted to
Right.
show you. So I'm
Okay.
just typing it exactly how I had it earlier.
Okay. Yeah. And so we hope everybody will consider helping Ninja out and listen to the story, share the story of what she's going through. We got part one. Wait to hear part one. Okay, yesterday we defined a few things as part of the special broadcast about how our world's going down, and gave out good information on where you can get more information. We did that, and you know that we say it we here like nobody else does, ladies and gentlemen. You should share these broadcasts because you wanted to know, obviously, right? So others want to know too. There's a lot of good people in this world. They have no idea where to get the right information about who they are, where they are, why they are, and when they are, and what's going on out there. But I having been a political activist with two organizations, and all of my life collecting lost writings and different versions of scriptures, and leaving no stone unturned, become a translator, and just stumbled upon the original thought. Well, Yeshua revealed it to me. I didn't stumble upon it. He put it in me to see the what was stolen from us, because diction, correctly, lection, is never supposed to change. What we call language, never supposed to change, but it did, and it did by manipulation, by man's design. A tree is always supposed to be a tree. A sun is always supposed to be a sun. A serpent is always a serpent. The water is always supposed to be a viator. That's a serpent, you know. But then all of these things became corrupted, and they did it on purpose. Okay, so we're just following the trail back. It can be done, and it is being done right here. Okay, so conversation, conversation. Well, the action is Asian, Ninja. Okay, right there. So you see Asian. So it's the converse of the Asian. It's not the real. Oh, yeah. Oh, there. Beautiful, beautiful. We're gonna have a conversation, and it's a converse of the Asian, right? Converse.
Yeah, keep going.
Okay.
Keep reading.
Well, wait a minute. I want to get the first part first. So it's the conversation. Oh, well, let me read forward. The converse is serve. Oh, it's an anagram. Serve, Ashan, by saying we have a conversation. We are saying that it's a con, and we serve Ashan. Man, well, um, yeah, but that's good. Serve Ashan. We're serving ourselves in the narrative, right? We're serving man being ourselves. But remember, man means criminal and sinner.
That's what I mean. The
Ashan,
corruption
yeah.
with the word, the
Well, that's
conversation.
true. We are actually serving the criminals and sinners, aren't we? Because they're the ones who are running our world, and they got us standing in line and creating all the great, innovations
Yeah.
for them. We
And
work for them, building the innovations.
yeah.
And if
And
everybody would
those
stop building and working for them, then maybe we'd have a chance, but we don't.
yeah.
But converse, I love that conversation, and it's the verse of the Asian, and it's a con now. They've conned the Asian.
Because it's
You
all
know,
about the words, the Aishavors. So
right? Because
conversation would have to
everybody,
be a corrupted word.
yeah, man
Yeah.
is a corrupted word, and we're not, because in Old English it means criminal and sinner, and in the Babylonian Talmud it means we're worse than criminals and sinners. Whatever, I don't remember those words that it was used specifically, but the word Asian is the word that really defines who we are as a higher intellect on this planet. We're not from this planet like the other animals. We are of a higher order, and we have to wake up to it. And so Aishan then is what we are, and that means royal eye that came down, the royal eye that came down, and the Aryan in particular were called the sky gods and the sun gods and the seed of light. And that's what even the Essenes, you know, and were also referring to themselves out as that aspect of it. They were the real Nazare that preserved the true baby, coming down the pike. So anyway, Ninja, good one. You're getting it all the time. You now can see and read for yourself. You don't need me anymore.
Yes, I
So
do.
so so we're doing it, and I hope that we can get back on the broadcast real soon. Maybe we'll do a special if something begins to work out for you. We'll come back on and do a few more. But this is all relevant truth. Anybody that has half a brain should be able to figure that out, because we give enough substance behind what we talk about. We can talk for hours on this and keep giving examples.
Yeah.
Just go back and listen to the other broadcasts. It's a science. A science means exact knowing. It is possible to know that you know, because Yeshua is the revealer. Okay, he's the one. Like, these people keep saying, well, I know he's coming back one day. Yeah, he's coming back for his church. Yeah, wait a minute, what? He's been here. He rose from the dead. What did he say when he was taken up 40 days later? He says, behold, I am with you always, even unto the end of the earth. What better comeback could there be than a rising from the dead and now being here as spirit, which he had been from the beginning of time? Spirit. He's here, but they've done such a great con on everybody that they even got them to think he's not here and he's coming back someday. Coming back? He's here. He's everywhere, and so they don't even know if the kingdom, some people actually think the kingdom is coming soon. Wait a minute. 2,000 years ago, he said the kingdom of heaven is at hand. At hand is in hand. Or he told his followers, he said, hey, create light to Yahweh that he would bring more workers to the field of the harvest, because the harvest is great. The harvest began 2,000 years ago. And they're still saying, well, we hope Bubba comes back to do his harvesting thing. I can't get over it, Ninja. I just can't get over how well the deception has been played out on the minds of man.
Yeah,
You know,
it's complete.
they think the
They've
sun is evil. They
yeah,
think the sun, and they don't get what a logo is. A logo is the sun. The sword is the word is a sword, and it is a flaming sword that points in every direction, as it said when they were banished from the garden. That the sword that pointed in every direction was really pointing the way back, not to keep them out, but to point the way back home to the light. The light projection, it's our mother star. It's what gave us form and being, and yet anytime you say something about the sun, they want to say sun worship. Sun worship, it's an image. It's a logo. It's a symbol. It represents the great breath that breathed and formed the entire universe. And it is a throne. It is the throne of the Spirit. The Spirit which is the breath, moved upon the cosmic waters, not an ocean, the cosmic waters, and breathed into the star. And the star ignited, and there was light. And there is light. It has been as it was from that moment. You see? But they want to say was in the beginning, was God, was what? Is, in that sense of the word, is. There is light, is the word, is the logo, is the symbol, is the Ashavor. And so this is what's being stolen from us. That's why to any new listener, it sounds a bit foreign
It's
because
beautiful
this is
though.
what we've been
Yeah,
denied.
yeah,
Well, it's easier to learn in Greek or Hebrew. That's what I love about it. Once we now know the root forms, it's using our modern letters that
yeah,
we have today. There's nothing really to learn other than some simple, basic root form that sounds like, looks like what we say today in our modern day. Because it is. Remember Chimera? If they go listen to the Chimera, we find out Chimera backwards is Aramaic in the anagram. And so they use the original as the basis for our
yeah,
modern English diction.
yeah. Because they don't have any originality. They have to copy and mimic and
Well,
reverse
but it was
things.
theirs. No, but the
Yeah,
point is, it was theirs. You see, so they just
yeah,
twisted it. That's what the
yeah,
serpent does, right? He twists.
yeah,
So he twisted. And then they mind controlled us. They denied us access to the real knowledge, and therefore we're slaves. We don't know anything other than what we've been told
yeah,
by the liars and the beaters and the cheaters
yeah.
and the Nigels of our planet. Yeah,
Thank you for adding that. Yeah,
yeah, the ones that hate our guts.
yeah,
Ones that hate our guts, and that's okay because we're told to love them and forgive them. Well, and maybe you can't love them, but you can sure feel sorry for them, Ninja, because you know what you got inside of you that they don't.
yeah,
And you're going somewhere. And so give thanks for them because they're to temper you. The darkness that is affecting you is to temper you. We remember we come to the light through the darkness. We were in the darkness in the lower realm first. Now we come up to we see the light, right? We see the light. We climb the ladder. We see the light. We're climbing the ladder towards that great light, and it's transforming us. And you will be set free from pieces of garbage like that, and you will be set free from this world, and you will live forever because that is your destiny, and don't let anybody take that from you. Okay, it's your right of inheritance. Remember, you lost your inheritance to your house, but you have a greater inheritance in Yeshua, and don't you forget it. All right.
Thank you. I won't. Sorry. That was beautiful. Thank you.
It's the truth. That's why I didn't flinch when I lost my house on a lake. When these scumbags like Nigel came around and infiltrated my organization and cost me a house on a lake with a dock and a canoe. I had paradise in East Texas, and I lost it. And I knew the truth. I knew that was a temporary thing because what I'm going for all of my life is the true paradise. The true paradise, and it is in Yeshua. And so it's a journey, Ninja. It's
Yeah,
an exciting journey
yeah.
when you know the truth.
It's an
The pain
adventure.
is great, huh?
Yeah, it's an adventure.
Yeah. Well, it's real pain. We suffer real pain, but the reward is great.
Yeah,
So just hang in there, because you are a Moeshiach aim. You are a Moeshiach aim. You are anointed with truth, and you are going through the water and the fire. That's what the Moeshiach means. You've gone through the water, and now you're going through the fire, the testing, to be worthy of what is only great. We are of a royal seed of light, and we have to go back to the throne of light in order to receive our inheritance. It's a journey, and it's a work. It's a walk, and it's a whack upside the head because not any idiot is going to go there, okay? Only those who have full determined, no matter what happens to them, they're going to keep looking up, and they know that their sunrise does come, okay? We never question whether the sun is going to rise, and that's his great symbol. His great symbol. Okay, so see and read it for yourself, everybody, and do consider helping NinjaCat out because she is our sister, and she's a lady, and she needs support and love, and not persecution and robbery that is occurring to her right now. But that's the name of the game on this planet, and we're just gonna have to learn how to deal with it. And so, but in the meantime, don't you forget, I'm Desert Owl telling you, if you want to know the future, then you need to look for the forbidden history because it's all right here, coming your way, temporarily off, but we hope you're coming back real
Okay.
soon with NinjaCat and yours truly. So Ninja, thank you, and we'll be in touch, of course, and keep us posted how things develop. Okay, and we want to be back on real soon.
Yeah, yeah, me too. I want to be back on real soon with you. Um,
Well,
yeah, thank you so much for doing this.
be well and say your final thoughts to everybody. Okay, and
Okay,
we'll talk. Bye bye.
okay. See ya. And may you live forever, Desert. I know you will.
You too. Thank you.
Thank you. Um, I just want to thank everyone for joining. Thank you for listening and relating. I almost said understanding. Thank you for comprehending. um, yeah, you're all beautiful, and you all get it. So thank you. I'm gonna get going before I lose it again. And thank you for the donations. I did see some come in, and just thank you so much. That will be a huge help this week with what I have to do. I know I can't put it off for too much longer. The only way I'm going to move forward is to deal with the situation with the animals, and it's the hardest thing that I have to do. So thank you. That will help so much. Yeah. Okay. uh, um, all right. Hopefully we'll be back real soon. Because I love doing this, and I don't like being away for too long. So be safe out there, and stay in the light and give thanks for your struggles, because they make you stronger. Okay, I'm just looking for some music, as usual. Alright, love you all. See yous.